Okay.
So this recording is
And-
going to be available on the website.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And then usually after the class, I usually turn off the recording. And then if anybody has any questions or has anything to say, I have it there so that people can feel more comfortable. Sometimes I know in classes that are recorded, I try not to interact as much. My tendency is to interact too much, but I try. So I try to wait until after the class to then bring up stuff. So today is, we got to do our regular golden rules. I do this even though you both have heard it before. I do this because if someone new is watching a video or someone new is attending, these are things that I feel that are really important that everybody know all the time. So yes, we've gone over it, but I really want to make sure that people know about them. The first thing is cleaning crystals. You can clean crystals with water or salt or smoke or burying, sunlight, moonlight, sound. I am cautious about water because there are a lot of crystals that don't particularly like water, and they also don't like salt. Anything with iron in it does not like salt because it'll break it down. So sunlight, moonlight, sound, and smoke. And there's also breath. I've been practicing on the breath work. I'm not quite comfortable yet, but I'm getting better at it. And so I think it's just as a fire sign, it's more of a heart. I think air signs have a better ability with the breath to be able to sort of hold your stone and breathe over it while you're cleaning with the intention of cleaning it. So I think some people are better at that, but I am practicing. Then there's my perfume analogy, which is every crystal has certain things that are innate to it, but like perfume's made up of cinnamon and rosemary and rose, and how that smells on you, Andrea, or on Carrie, and how it smells on me are going to all be completely different. Mm-hmm. And we know this because we've had ones where we smell it and we go, oh my God, this smells so amazing. And you put it on you and you're like, oh my God, this smells really bad. Mm-hmm. And so I think crystals are very similar to that because it's one frequency. They have a frequency and you have a frequency. And then when the two of you get together, it's a different frequency. It doesn't change you and it doesn't change the structure of the crystal, but the combination can change overall. So you may find today we're going to be working with very protective stones, and they may feel uplifting to you. They may feel joyful. And if that's what you're getting from the stone, then you go with that. Don't worry about what anybody else says. As I've said before, everybody says something a little bit different in their books of crystals. And I have 40 different books of crystals. I try to find the trends, and that's what I provide to everybody in these classes. So just so you know, when you read something and you're like, Professor Mystic didn't say that, it is just because everybody's got their own take on it. And these classes and these definitions are my take on it and my research trying to be as broad as possible. Remember, in programming, activating and deactivating, when you work with the crystal, you want to, a little bigger crystal, you want to activate it. That was what I was going to do today. Oh, perfect. So we have an exercise today, and it's to do with like turning on our hands, getting our hands so that they are sensitive and then sort of activated. And this way you can activate your crystals and you can feel them better or more clearly. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands together, and then we're going to take them apart about half an inch and put them back together. And so basically we're going to do this for a few minutes in a pumping motion. And so it starts to, you may feel like your hands getting warm, or your hands may be feeling like they're getting tingly. And then you go a little bit further apart, and you should be able to start to feel some resistance as you push in. I do. It may turn up differently in terms of language on how it feels for you. And then go a little bit further, because your intention is to open up and activate your hands and your palms, specifically your receptive, which is going to be your non-dominant hand. Your dominant hand is for projecting, and your non-dominant hand is for receiving. So you want to receive the crystal. Now, you should feel like there's an energy. Well, it feels like today mine feels very soft and very not squishy, that's not the right word, very tender. But my fingers are tingling, all of them, and it's starting to go down to my palm. And when my hand is activated, I can feel like I just touching my palm, it's super sensitive. And so I know that my hand is activating. My intention is to activate it. So then when you take a crystal and you put it in there, you are receiving everything that it has, and it is receiving everything that you are. And there's that moment of connection. Now, I have an Apache tear in my hand, which tends to be a warmer stone, but because my hand is activated, it actually feels very cool to the touch. So that is a way, when people talk about activating your hands, that's one way to do it. I don't know if either of you did that while we were doing the exercise. If you did, can you tell me, if you're open to it, can you tell me what you felt or how it felt to you?
I did it, and I'm sitting next to an open window and it is chilly, and my hands were cold. And then as I was doing it, they definitely, like, they are a heater right now. And it's funny because I could feel the tension, and it was interesting. Mine was a little squishy or softer, like a gentler. I did feel my um predominant hand warm up faster than my
Mhm.
receiving hand. But I do feel that some of that is because I tend to give more than I receive. So as I focused more on activating my receiving hand, then I felt it. And it came more from my palms first and then out
Okay.
into my fingers. But that
Like a,
was a beautiful feeling, a great activation.
and it's fairly quick,
Yes.
it's not a 20-minute meditation. Nothing wrong with 20-minute meditations, but it's a quick way to get your hand activated if you need a stone. And Andrea, did you do it while we were doing it, or are you waiting to
No,
do it?
I did it while we were doing it, and I noticed that it's just a very gentle resistance in my hands. Um, I've actually like got diabetes, and I've lost feeling in my fingers.
Oh,
So this,
wow.
so this is, I guess, a good thing that I still have a little bit of feeling.
Mhm.
And as I was moving the energy between my palms, like as if it's in a ball, um, my hands, when I touch the palms of my hands, it's very sensitive.
Yeah. So now your hands, both of you have done a great job in terms of activating. And Andrea, if you're doing something and there's some neuropathy,
Yes.
you may feel it may feel up your arm.
Okay.
You may feel it doesn't necessarily it doesn't change the fact that it's going to be happening whether you can feel it or not. Um, but you will sense it probably more along here and here where your neuropathy is not quite as strong.
Right. Right.
But it also, I mean, if you're feeling it in your hands, that's probably a great sensation where it's something gentle and it's not painful.
No, it's definitely not painful. It's just very, very, very gentle. But one observation I made when you were talking about your receptive hand and your giving hand is that I have placed my mala beads on my receptive hand on my left arm, and
Okay.
my other ones I have in my giving arm, on my right hand, my dominant hand.
Mm-hmm.
So this is confirmation as to what I've done.
Yes, absolutely. And, I am even in my day job when I work with patients, all of them, hi, Amy. All of, I always tell everybody, trust your instinct. Okay.
Oh, you.
That's the most important thing, is trust your instinct. And your instinct obviously picked up on that automatically putting it on one hand and on the other hand. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was very
Good
important
morning.
to me.
Yes. And I, and they may be protective for both, both receiving and projecting. Now, I'm left-handed, but I'm very ambidextrous. So I use my right hand as my receiving hand and my left hand as my dominant hand, even though, with the exception of writing, you wouldn't know the difference. I don't really notice the difference. It's a decision that I've made in the years working, that this is more of a sensitive, being able to pick things up more often than with my dominant hand, which is more like, if somebody's coming at me, I would put up my left hand and say, stop, that kind of projection. So for some people, while, yes, your dominant hand is usually the hand that you use, that is not always the case. You have to be able to feel, you have to be able to go with what your feelings are, with what your gut says.
When you're talking about ambidextrous, I had broken my right wrist, so I had to do everything with my left hand. And the two things that were the hardest for me to do was writing and also doing up the zipper of my pants, because the opening is on the right hand side. So it was, I had to reach way over upside down to be able to do it. But that, anyways, I managed to do it. And I became very much more ambidextrous than what I was.
Absolutely. When you damage one hand, and I'm sure if you have, if one of your hands is got more issues with the neuropathy, then you're probably using the other hand more often.
Not necessarily the case. They're both the same. It's
Not
just
the same.
Yeah, it's just that having my wrist broken and having to do everything with my left hand, it was interesting. I could do it.
Very good. That's awesome. So Amy, we just did an exercise on how to activate your hands, so that receiving and giving, so that you can help activate, when you activate crystals, that they can be more, that you can be more sensitive and you can pick up more on what the crystal is. So if you want after class, we can go over it again. because we are recording and we're going to keep going. So, but hi, Amy, welcome. All right, so today we are on the final section of lattice work, crystal structure lattice work. So this is an interesting final one, and it is to do with, it's amorphous. And so that is spelled that's not right, AMOR, double check, PHOUS. Now, all up until now, we've done working with lattice structures that are cubic or isometric, where they have different, it's like rectangular or hexagonal, which has a bunch of different angles coming in. The thing about amorphous is that it is those things that are not actually crystals. They are things that we work with, things that we hold and use often, and we think of crystals, but are not actually crystals. And so there is no exact trend. Each stone has its own strengths, just like when we were doing hexagonal, where it's energizing and magnifying. Amorphous is each individual stone has its own frequency. There isn't an overall frequency that they fall under. I'm going to go through the list of them, and I think you'll be surprised. Certainly, I knew a number of them were, but there was two that I did not know was, and I was absolutely surprised. So the first is one that we probably assume, which is amber. Do I need to spell stuff out? Are people taking notes?
I'm taking notes, but I think most of the crystals and stuff, amorphous, I needed spelled out, but I think the rest might be okay.
Okay. There's only
depends.
one. There's only one or two that I think need to be spelled out, and then I'll just spell those out as I go along. So amber, which is tree sap, fossilized tree sap. Now, it's pretty rare. It's not common. And one of the ways that they want you to test to see if it's real amber, which I would never ever do, but they're like, heat a needle and press it onto your piece of amber, and if it smells like if it smells like incense, then it's actual amber. Now, I don't have a lot of amber, but I certainly wouldn't stick a hot needle into some part of it, because that would, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's one of the ways they say to test to see if it's real.
That sounds like torturing it.
I mean, and it yeah, I would never do that. When I read that, I was like, what? And for those who are super geological, super like into the kind of structure like that, then I guess that's okay with them, but it does sound like torture to me as well, and I just wouldn't do it. So after amber comes Apache tears, and I'll go into them because that's one of the stones we're working into today. Bronzite, BRONZITE. Fossils, so we all have a few, and I'm not even going to try and say it, it's AMMO. Yeah, just we all have a couple of different kinds of fossils. Well, most of us do. And so it makes sense that they are not part of the crystalline structure. So lapis lazuli. I had no idea that it wasn't a crystal. It's a type of volcanic, it's a type of volcanic glass mixed with other chemicals and minerals. but I never had, that was my shocker. I was like, what? Wow. Moldavite, which we've heard lots about. And if you ever see a necklace of Moldavite that's for $30, I can guarantee you it's a fake. It's really hard to get actual Moldavite these days, so be really careful. Pearl or pearls, petrified wood, obsidian, opal, orgonite, ORGONITE, and tektite, which is the other, I'm going to say crystals because they are included as a part of the healing crystal family. That's the other crystal that we're going to look into today. So with these amorphous ones, it's going to be much more connected to the color frequency that they are part of, as opposed to the crystalline structure. The reason I started with the crystalline structure is because that's the base, and then color comes in, and then shape comes in, and then you have a sort of a rounded view of a crystal. Next week, we will be starting on colors. We're going to start on red. So I was going to put out, I'll do that at the end. Sorry for jumping ahead. So with each of these, you need to do the research for each one of them on what their frequency is. Again, with the color part of it, it should help. Just like petrified wood, which is usually like a brown red, is very good for your base energy center or your root energy center. But just knowing the lattice structure, knowing these 8, 7, and then 8, these 8 lattice structures make a huge difference in being able to work with a crystal that you may not have a full definition with. If you know that it's, so I have an Apache tier, and if I know that it's amorphous, it tells me one thing about it is that it's not going to fit into the lattice structure. So the next thing I'm going to look at is color. And I'm like, okay, it's black, and that tells me certain things. And so that's to do with the lattice work. I actually did notes for today online. I'm going to be getting, somebody has offered to help me get my notes caught up so that there'll be notes available for each of the videos, which I think can help because it'll list out all of the different ones we've spoken about and basic, not so much the conversation itself, but for basic words that go with each stone. One of the things,
sorry,
No.
I think that would be very helpful for me because I've missed a number of classes, so then I can get caught up.
Yeah, so I am working on it. I'm a little bit slow, but I'm trying to get caught up. And today I actually did half of the notes through my notes through voice to text. So I was like, oh, that's I should have done that the whole time. Yeah, so you'll be able to look back and get some basics ideas about the different lattice structure. I think the lattice structure is really important because that's how it's built. It's like if you look at a house, you want to see the frame before you see anything, before you see the furnishings, before you see the walls. It needs to have a framework, and that's what the lattice work is for crystals. So we will be moving on to color next week, and we've gone through all of the lattice structure. I will be starting the class series over, so there'll be 1 week that's in the beginning, starting starting over with what I've learned along the way so that it's a little bit more constructed. And then I will be continuing with these classes as we move along. So there'll be 2 classes a week that I'll be working on. Or it may be every other week. We'll see how I do. Yeah. So today, because we are looking at these ones that we don't know so much about, the first one I'm going to talk about is Tektite. Now, if you've been here more than once, you know that I usually have piles and piles of the rock, of the stones that I'm talking about. So this is my piece of Tektite. This is the only, I have one other piece that's this size that has decided to hide, but there. Now, it is like moldavite. It's natural glass. It's from a meteorite. Tektite is often mistaken for obsidian, but it's actually a little bit heavier than obsidian. And many times if you buy it, they will put either cedar or mineral oil on it to make it shinier. And that does not change the energy and frequency of the stone. So don't worry, if it comes like that, don't worry about that. That's not an issue when it comes to the stone. It is like moldavite. I don't know. Does anybody here have moldavite?
I do, but I don't know where it is right now.
So, but you know, like that, if you open up your hand and you put some moldavite on it, it is a very powerful stone. I have a necklace, and I swear I can't wear that necklace all day. And you guys know, I wear all kinds of crystals all the time. And I can't wear my little moldavite necklace for longer than about 4 hours because it's super strong. Tektite has that same sort of really pushing you into a higher consciousness kind of frequency. And that's the main factor about Tektite, is that it is pushing you from your base physical, and it's pushing you up into your higher centers, into your, as they say, the third eye, or into your mind's eye. It's up. I put my hand up here because that's where electrically, that's where they're located. And so it really pushes you up there. Now, the side effect of that is you can feel a little dizzy if you're not used to it. The first time you touch it, you may feel a little like, whoa, like it can give you that ungrounded feeling. So I would recommend, if you do get a piece of Tektite, that you have some obsidian or some tourmaline or something to help you get grounded should you start to feel a little bit dizzy. And it can so Tektite has a little bit of a dream-like quality to it, because it has taken you from the physical and put you up into a higher consciousness, into your higher consciousness. It can kind of get that like dream walking feel, which is what I mean by feeling. Sometimes you can feel a little bit dizzy. If that scares you, or if that makes you feel uncomfortable, then make sure that you just have a good grounding stone next to you. It can help you grow and expand your the work that you are doing at a personal level. So if you're doing shadow work, or if you're doing, you're trying to grow and break certain patterns, this is a great stone to help, because it pushes you out of the standard issue you. So it pushes me out of Tanya and pushes me more into Mystic, because Tanya is my given name and Mystic is my self-chosen name. And so it pushes me more towards the journey that I want to be on and that I want to do work on. And That's not a place that we can be all the time. But it's a place that we need to go when we're doing specific kinds of work on ourselves to help push it up and help things to start moving more. It also, in the time and in the process that it pushes you up, it also does a like a balancing thing with the yin yang, so that your male and your feminine and masculine parts are put into balance through your system. And so once you, I was going to say come down, but that's just not the right term. Once you've decided that you've done the work that you can do, then, and you're holding something that's grounding for you, then you'll be able to feel more settled and than you started, because it has that dualistic aspect of the higher, but also balancing your whole system. Now, I've heard something recently, and when I was doing some research for this class, that, hang on, my leg fell asleep, which is, it is the only stone that absorbs dark energy. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the writers, two people have said that. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by dark energy. The second writer sort of expanded it as negative energy. And most stones take that are protective. They sort of reflect negative energy back. They're more like a shield. And when I was doing some work with this, I found that it feels like it sucks out some of the negative stuff that I was holding on to. Now, when things change in your electrical system, in your different centers, and something is changed, sucked, sort of like, this is my phraseology, sucked out does not sound very professional, but that's about the only way I can describe it, is that it's pulled out, that then it gives you the chance to fill it with the things that you need to fill it. And I think this stone doesn't reflect negative energy or change it to positive energy. I do think it just takes it, and I'm not sure exactly if it's just able to move it to the threads of tektite around the world, or I don't know exactly, not sure, but it definitely does have a factor about negative energy removal, which, when I was talking about the yin yang and coming down into your body, and feeling like things are a little bit different, I think that the stone takes some of the negative habits or some of the negative thought patterns that we normally go by, and removes them. Now, thought patterns and habits are hard to break. And so it's usually, I would say, it's not going to happen in one time, in one session of work, that you're going to end up having to do a bunch of different sessions, but you'll start to feel that this is able to do that, which I think is super cool. Any questions?
I have a question. What is your thought on tektites that are from different places around the world? Like, I have like one piece of moldavite, but I have different tektites that are from different places. What's your view on that? Like, do
So
they?
ultimately, moldavite is a type of tektite. It's the
Right, like
same thing.
I have some others that are, from like the Arizona desert, or, this is from a small island here. Do you feel that they all kind of possess the same feeling, or energies? Do you feel like maybe some have a little bit more than others because of where they come from?
I think so. I haven't done enough work with different ones from different places, but I would think that they fundamentally have the same frequency, but they're going to have a different flavor. If Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense because that's how I feel when I work with the different ones that I have. Like I have a ring and I'm not sure how to
Oh,
pronounce
cool.
it. It starts with an S and it has a much, I don't know, softer, gentler feeling than some of the other ones I have. So I like to wear that one as a ring that was comfortable for me.
Well, you know what I'm going to say, which is always trust your instinct, always
Mm,
trust your feelings. Yeah, I was. So when you were talking about different countries and stuff, I had this image or this vision of like, I'm a Tektite from a very special country, and so each of them has their own accent.
yes.
So it doesn't change the structure; it just changes the, you know, ooh la la, or whatever. It just changes a little bit of a different frequency, a different accent. So that's it's a newer stone for me to be working with. Um, it I found it to be moldavite, and now remember, when lots and lots of people think one way about something, it adds to it. So moldavite has this big mystique about it, and it is a powerful stone. And i don't I don't think I would wear even my little piece of tektite that I have. I don't think I would wear it because I would I'm ditzy enough that I don't need to wear this during the day when I'm not trying to do something specific. um but it is they're all connected. So there's all these different places where tektite is from, or where like moldavite is from Moldova, and very specifically, tektite isn't always black. It can come in different, a little bit different, like different shadings to it. Um, I've only seen black, but I know from the research that I've done and looking in my main book of stones, they talk about, um, it can be brown or it can be red. I'm not hearing anything or read anything that makes it a light color like yellow or white, but it can be different colors. And so that's going to change the frequency of the stone just because of the color. But I think that, well, Carrie, what have you found tektite to be like overall?
Um, like you said, like it kind of does help with that negativity. Like the ring that I have is a lighter gray,
Mhm.
and when it's in the sun, it has a lavender tint to it. And so
No.
with that one, like I feel it's like a gentler. That's why I can wear it during the day. It's gentler and it's kind of like a reminder to be a little more positive in thoughts or actions, or kind of that one makes me feel a little more cup half full versus half empty.
Mhm.
And then the other ones that I've used are more when I'm tapping into like the higher consciousness that I
Yes.
have. And that's more what I used those for. And my Moldavite I made into a necklace, and that one, Hunter, sorry, kids are right around me. That one I made into a necklace with a Faden quartz attached to it.
Okay.
And that one, if I'm doing something like new, like when I was traveling back east, I wore that one during the day. Like that one kind of, it was more awareness and newness, and I
Mm.
don't have a problem being bold or anything like that, but it was I don't know, it kept me in a higher, happier, let's do this more movement forward action during my vacation, and
Oh,
not
good.
having that lag or during that time. So that's kind of my what's happened with tech types and me.
No, I mean that's good because I'm finding, when I read out the stuff, this is because I've looked in different places for it along with what I feel. So it sounds like pretty much we're on the same page where that's concerned.
Yes, definitely.
So that is tech type. So Amy, you were showing us something. Gonna have to take it off mute.
Okay. No, I know. So first I got this, which is a
Adventuring.
cape, I guess. No, not, I'm talking about the necklace. Yeah, that's a venture. No. Jade? I don't know. Anyway, but I got this necklace. There was two of them. This
Okay.
one and a brown one. I gave the brown one to Becca. Because I remember it was right after we had the class and someone had asked you about having their stones wrapped in wires,
Mhm.
and you're of the opinion that fabric or cloth or thread or whatever is better because it doesn't like interrupt
Mhm.
or change the stone. So I got this necklace. But then we just actually right before I got on the class, we went to Vedic Moons, which is our local witch shop, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
It's hit or miss with her because she recently had a baby. So we went, they were closed. We went and picked up prescriptions and stuff, and then we went back, and these are the stones that I got.
So you got selenite, you got pyrite,
Yeah.
you got, wow, that looks like a rainbow obsidian. I can't tell.
This one,
The
this one,
nope, the one
nope,
in
just
between
that's
next to
obsidian.
pyrite. Yeah, that's
This one,
obsidian, but nope, that is nope. Next one. Hold the next one up. Hold
this
that
one.
one. Huh. So it's not. Looks like a kind of agate. What did they say it was?
Okay, so this is Bumblebee.
Oh,
Agate.
okay.
Oh, what was this one? It wasn't agate. This is agate.
I mean, it kind of looks like. Well,
There's
we
a
can talk
method to my
about.
madness, but I forget this name. Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
still have, I mean, but this was my last before I even, because, and then I got some orange blossom water.
oh,
And I got it
cool.
mostly because I love the bottle and I want to make it. So,
So
so
that's cool.
I
You
bought
can show
that.
me. We can chat about the
Yeah,
rocks after when we're not
after.
recording. But those are very cool. Very cool. I'm a big proponent of. People always ask me like, "What is the first stone I should get?" I'm like, "Whatever you like, but don't just remember it won't be the last stone that you get."
And I got new cases for them.
Oh, good.
I
That's
like these
lovely.
little plastic cases. I got these at the dollar store.
Yep. I get a lot of my
And
stuff at the dollar store.
I put them in there just so they're all in one place. I don't want to, I'll lose them. If I don't have everything in one place, I will 100% lose them. But anyway, continue, teacher.
Okay. So the next stone that we're going to talk about is actually one of my favorite stones. I'm going to take off my Colorado weather here, take off my sweater. which is Apache tears.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Carrie. I love it too.
what?
Oh,
What was that,
Carrie
Amy?
had said in chat that she loved the.
Oh, the
What?
cage. Yeah.
You did? No. No, Carrie had said that she loved the little cage necklace, and I was just saying thank you.
Oh shit. Have I been calling you the wrong name, Kari? Carrie?
No, it's Carrie.
Okay.
I don't know.
Carrie,
I may
yeah.
have been.
No, it's okay. It's spelled with a K.
It's Carrie.
Sometimes it's like people will say Carrie, and sometimes people say Kari, and I just go with the flow because.
Oh, okay. Cool. I just needed to
I
check
think
because
it's the lack of the double R.
so I have that little tiny piece of Tektite, and then here's my collection of Apache tears. I give these away, even though I probably shouldn't because they're not always that cheap. But these stones are
And I
from.
can't find any around here. I've been trying to find Apache tears. Nobody has them.
Well, they're from the Southwest in the U.S. and Mexico. If you ever get an Apache tear that says made in China, which means it means that it's an obsidian that was shaped to look like Apache tears. Apache tears are a form of obsidian, but they have some special qualities. The story that goes with them and the reason they're called Apache tears is that at one time, the Apache warriors were forced to jump off of a cliff and die. I do not know if it was due to colonization or if it was to do with another tribe. I don't know that. But the tears are considered to be the tears of the Apache wives and women crying for the loss of their men. And this is what they formed into. Sometimes they're polished and sometimes they're not. They're usually about an inch big, and they have usually lots of little kinds of different shapes, divots in it. I don't know if I'm doing that right, if you can see it. And they are, the reason that there's some whiter color in it is because it has iron inclusions. So it's not just obsidian, it's obsidian with some iron inclusions in it. And the main words that go with them are grounding, protection, enjoyment of your physical life, emotional cleansing, a change in life, grief, and self-forgiveness. So those are just like the big overarching words. They provide a protection from negative energy as a shield, as opposed to the Tektite, which actually draws it out. This shields it out. If that negative energy is coming from you, it'll allow it to pass out so it doesn't come back in. And I use this stone and I give this stone a lot for those who are grieving. And the reason is that the stone warms up one's frozen emotions or repressed emotions. And it allows positive energy into where that's been. And in many ways, that's what happens with grief. We grieve, not grief is very much in our society is put as a just to do with death. But the fact is that we have small griefs all the time. We have lots of different kinds of, not transitions, but just different thing as we grow and move through life. We leave one octave or one place where we've been, and we move into a new one that can be very big and open and scary. And we can grieve that transition. We can grieve the past that we're leaving behind. And what this stone does is it helps you like in terms of like warming up those frozen emotions. It allows you to shed the tears, especially those that you have hidden, that you have put down, and that you did not give yourself a chance to let go of and to forgive yourself. If you had a relationship that didn't survive for whatever reason, there's going to be grief. Even if you left and it was the best thing for you, you're still going to have some grief. That is important for us to remember, especially when we're working with people. If you, that's what you decide to do, is that this stone can be very powerful. It's quite light, and it can be very powerful in the gift of giving it to someone and allowing and knowing, letting them know that this will allow them the chance to grieve, and that it'll give them the positive energy in that, particularly in the physical, the physicality part of life. So in the beginning, I said that enjoyment of the physical life is that it allows you to get back into your body in a positive way, as opposed to, say you're struggling with depression, feeling your body, it's very heavy, it doesn't have light. This allows, even so, I'm not saying that it's a prescription for depression. There are other stones that can be useful, but it is a stone that can allow you to start to feel the positive parts of your physical life.
I'm gonna
You
have to
okay,
step.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to step away for about 10 minutes because I got to get something to eat. Okay. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Take care of. All right, that's fine.
No, I had to switch to my tablet from my phone.
Okay. Interesting today. And so this is really that sort of physicality and the positive energy where, if you're seriously doing some work and trying to move through something heavy that you've repressed that's causing you issues, you could work with Apache tears, and then you could put some citrine, bumblebee jasper, any of the yellow stones to help you uplift into your solar plexus energy center, so that you're moving up in your body and feeling better about it. So obviously it's going to be, because it's black, and it's going to be part of the base energy center or the root energy center, and that grounding part aspect to it. But it'll give you the opportunity to start to move up in your system, to move up in your energy centers. So we talked about Tektite, which is like way up here. And then we talk about this one, which is very much in the base. So between the two of them, you got it all covered. So one of the things also about Apache tears is that if someone is trapped in a loop, this can break it. If you have that mental loop going on, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I should have done something better. I should have taken something different. That kind of loop, this is the kind of stone that you can consciously take it in, activate your hands, take it in, and allow it to break that loop so you can put something in its place. Remember, when you're doing, this sort of goes into the magic of crystals and into the unseen and the magic part of life, is that if you are doing work and you're removing something, you have to put something in its place. You can't just leave it open, because anything will come in and fill it up. It is.
That's the stone I want to send to my boys. They have to go to their grandmother's funeral next month.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great stone to have. It's usually Look on Etsy. They're usually about $5,
Yeah,
$5 to $7. They're not
yeah,
expensive.
I have to. They're gonna they're out of stock at our store, but she said they were like she charges $8. So
Okay.
I'm gonna see. But you know, my kids are very stoic for me. So they
Yeah.
don't, I mean, I don't, whatever they do when I'm not, but when they talk to me, they're always strong. And I know
Okay.
that's because of me, but
Right.
I know what they're going through. I mean, they were very, very close to Henrietta. She's an amazing woman. So yeah, I want to send them that and some clear quartz. And I told Marky when I was talking to him about it, I said, you may not believe in it. You know, it may seem like hooky to you or whatever, but it'll make
Just do it for
me
me.
feel better. And
Yeah. Just
and
that's
that's
what
what I
I
said. And
say.
he was like, whatever you want, Mom. I said, you never know. It
Well, and
may
they
actually help you.
can also, I have a son who's like, yeah, whatever, Mom. And I give him bracelets and crystals and stuff. And um, then something happens, and he goes, well, it's just happened. And it's like, dude, it didn't just happen, okay? But
Well,
the good,
Marky, both my sons are very logical and fact oriented, and I was the same way for a very, very long time. Um, so we'll see. But they'll do it because I asked them to do it. They're fantastic children, but I know that they're going through probably one of the biggest losses of their lives. I mean, they lost their Henrietta's husband, David, died June of last year. So these were like
okay.
very, very prominent figures in their lives. Like they helped
Mhm.
raise them. I credit who they are. Has a lot to do with them.
Okay.
So these are
Yes,
very big
absolutely.
losses.
And you can just tell them just to hold on to it when it feels like it's too much. That's all they have to do. Don't, you program it, you clean it however you clean, whatever works best for
I just
you.
hope that
And
they're letting themselves feel the emotions
I don't
because
I'm a firm believer that
I
crystals
hate
work whether you believe in them or not.
no, I know that. I'm just saying um being boys being boys, I just hope that they're not trying to be strong because I didn't raise them like that. There's no girl. I didn't raise them with the gender norms that the massive population tries to put on. They did dishes, they cooked, they did laundry. There were no gender norms. So I
Good.
know that Marky and Gregory, they both took a couple days off after we knew it was happening. And it was kind of like when
And
David
that
died, they told us,
it's
you need to come down here. But then it was like that. They were just
well,
gone.
and here's the thing. It does not matter if you know something or not. There is a shock factor if someone passes away that is unexpected, but it still causes a
Pain,
hole
strife.
inside. So I'm going to be back in
Yeah.
just 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
I got to
No.
take care of something.
Oh, that's fine. No, they'll definitely have a hole. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I still have my grandma. She's going to be 94.
Wow,
And
that's
they've
pretty
lost their
cool.
grandma and their grandpa. Yeah. Oh, no, she's stubborn. We always said that about my great grandma. She died at 98 and a half. The women in
Wow.
my family just outlive the men. We drive the men crazy. They die. But she's going to be 94. I'm so fortunate. And I told that's something I told them, you know, they were so fortunate to have these people as their
Yeah.
grandparents. They were amazing people.
So,
And yeah,
Miss
it hurts
Miss Amy,
me. And
yes.
I divorced their son and they still love me. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, let's wait until after, and then we can talk about it, because obviously it's pressing in on you and you're feeling it. And I want to respect and honor that. But I also want to
Yeah.
just because
No.
we're almost done.
Do your class.
So it can help you shed the tears, and it can help open that up so that then positive energy can come in. So that's pretty much what we've been talking about, Amy. And then, does anybody have any questions or any comments? Okay, so next time is going to be, so we're going to wrap it up. Next time is going to be color, and the homework assignment, if you decide to do it, which is fine, is going to be just to write out a list of things that are red, things that you see and know are red.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a crystal. It could be anything.
No, like blood is red, and the whole idea of red lipstick.
Auras.
Well, auras, what does it mean in an aura if it's red? So we're looking more for the physical things. I just want people to start, if you start to cook on what we're going to be doing, because we're going to be working on red. And so if you've already been spending the week trying to bring in, this is more natural things like like a fire truck. Most of the time they used to be red. And
Arizona.
You let him in my house? You got him a fucking drink? He came to see you, and I was bored and lonely.
Okay, Patty.
I think you see background noise.
yeah, I
Oh,
can
I'm
hear
sorry.
some background noise.
Sorry.
I hope no one's talking to her like that.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're just about done. I think there must have been a confusion about timing.
Yeah,
So
I'm bad.
it's okay. It's okay. It's not your bad. It's just so yeah, next week next week we are
Red.
actually not next week is red, but actually next week is the 24th, 23rd and 24th, and we will not be having class that week due to having the Pagan Fest and Witch Fest. And when I do
I really
readings,
wish
it
I
usually
could go.
kicks my ass. So I am going to
The week
I'm gonna
after.
Yep, the weekend after we will be working into colors, and so we're going to start with red, and then we'll be working with red stones. We'll probably have 2 stones. It may be ones we've done before, but we'll continue. If you have any red stones, bring them out so that they can enjoy the time and the attention.
They can play.
And yeah, and if anybody has any questions,
And our birthdays are in 2 weeks.
your birthdays.
My birthday
You
just
and
Mine
passed.
and Andrea's. Mine is the 28th and Andrea's is the 29th.
29th.
Oh, wow. So it'll be right after your birthday. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. I'm going to turn off the recording, and then
We can't do that no more.
we can't do that anymore. Okay. I'm going to turn off the recording.
Okay.
No, that's not right. Hang on. It takes me a minute.